I used to believe that Sharon's laugh was the best sound I'd ever heard. It was soft, effortless, like she wasn't weighed down by a single thing. I chased that laugh like a thirsty man stumbles toward a mirage, certain I'd found something real when I married her. We met at a mutual friend's birthday, the kind of night where the music was too loud and the drinks too strong. She wore a simple green dress and listened like nothing else in the world mattered. She said she wanted something quiet and grounded. Kids, a house, dinner on the table by 6. I told her I wanted the same. Within a year, we were married. Maybe it was too fast, but I didn't question it. 6 months in, she left her job in marketing, saying she wanted to focus on starting a family. I was earning enough managing construction projects to keep us afloat, so I supported the idea. Sharon kept the house like something out of a magazine, everything in its place. Dinner ready when I got home, soft lighting and gentle music. It felt idyllic, maybe too idyllic. We started trying for a baby, or at least I thought we were. Month after month, she'd give me this little sorrowful smile and say, maybe next time. I didn't pressure her, figuring stress wouldn't help. Looking back now, I can see it all, the signs scattered right in front of me. But I didn't look for cracks in the foundation of the home I'd built. I trusted it, trusted her, until one Thursday everything changed. I was supposed to be out late for a site inspection a couple towns over, but the meeting got canceled last minute. I didn't tell Sharon. Thought I'd surprise her. Her car was in the driveway when I pulled up, but the house was dark. I eased the front door open quietly, just out of habit, and that's when I heard it, a low male voice followed by Sharon's laugh. That same gentle laugh I thought she saved for me. I should go. The man said, "Come on, Nathan," Sharon whispered. "Stay a little longer. Arthur won't be home for hours." I stood there by the stairs, frozen. I didn't go up, didn't storm in. I just stepped back out and closed the door softly behind me, sat in my truck across the street, and stared at my own house. About an hour later, he left. Tall guy, leather jacket. I'd never seen him before. He kissed her on the porch like he belonged there. She watched him walk away, arms wrapped around herself, barefoot, smiling. She looked happy. I gripped the steering wheel so tight, I thought the leather might tear. I could have jumped out, started a fight, dragged him off my property, but I didn't. I waited until she was back inside, then drove off. I needed to think, to stay level. A few blocks away, I had to pull over, chest tight, breath shallow. That was when the truth hit me. The woman I thought I knew, the one who smiled across the dinner table, who cried over negative pregnancy tests, had been lying straight to my face. The next morning, Sharon kissed me goodbye like nothing had happened. I kissed her back, smiled even. I wasn't going to confront her. Not yet. I had something else in mind. On the way to work, I stopped by a hardware store and picked up a basic set of security cameras. Nothing fancy, just enough to monitor the main areas. The living room, hallway, bedroom. That night, once Sharon was asleep, I installed them, tucked behind picture frames, inside the vent, under the bookshelf. Discreet. Over the next few days, I checked the feeds from my phone whenever I could, sitting in my truck between job sites, in the back of meetings, wherever. What I saw was worse than I imagined. Nathan came over every afternoon, walked in like he lived there. Sharon would meet him in the hallway, kiss him deep, pull him into the bedroom. They didn't waste time. Every day, in my home, in my bed. It wasn't just betrayal. It was routine. I didn't eat much, didn't sleep, but I kept calm, focused. The following evening, I told Sharon I had to go on a 3-day work trip. It was a lie. I just needed to be out of the house long enough for her to bring him over again. She didn't blink, just said, "Okay, be safe." No questions, no concern. That's when I set the rest of my plan in motion. After dinner, I called her parents, told them I wanted to fly them in as a surprise, said it had been too long. They were thrilled. They thought they were coming for a joyful visit. They had no idea what was waiting for them. Later that night, while Sharon was in the shower, I grabbed her phone. Same passcode. She hadn't even changed it. There it was. "He's leaving tomorrow for 3 days. Come over. I'll make dinner. We'll have the whole house to ourselves." Nathan replied, "Can't wait. Miss you." I grinned to myself. Perfect. I booked 2 first-class tickets for Thomas and Linda. They were flying in the next afternoon. The next morning, I packed a small duffel bag. Sharon hummed in the kitchen, light on her feet like a teenager sneaking around. I leaned in to kiss her. She turned her cheek. "See you in a few days," I said. "Yeah," she replied, barely paying attention. "Text me when you land." I walked out the door without looking back. Instead of heading to the airport, I checked into a small hotel 5 minutes away. Nothing fancy, just quiet. I sat by the window, phone in hand, camera feed open. By noon, Nathan was there. Sharon answered the door in one of my old T-shirts, and nothing else. No shame, no subtlety. I watched just long enough to feel that cold burn behind my ribs. It was time. At 3 p.m., I drove to the airport. Thomas and Linda were waiting, grinning from ear to ear. "She's going to be so surprised," Linda said, giving me a warm hug. "She has no idea," I said, grabbing their bags. Thomas patted my back. "Feels like it's been forever." The drive back was quiet. I kept glancing at my phone. Nathan's car was still parked in my driveway. They were about to witness everything. The driveway was quiet when we pulled up. Sharon's bedroom door was still closed. I turned off the engine and faced him in the car. "There's something you need to see," I said softly. "Something you need to hear for yourself." They looked puzzled but nodded. We crept inside to the front door, which opened without a sound. I motioned for them to follow closely, keeping low. The house reeked of her perfume and sweat, and the stench turned my stomach. From upstairs, faint moans floated down. Thomas stiffened at my side. Linda grabbed his arm. I didn't give them time to second-guess it. I moved up the stairs quickly and pushed open the bedroom door. It swung open fast, and there they were, Sharon and Nathan, tangled together in the sheets, completely naked and without shame. Sharon's face froze in horror, her mouth forming a silent gasp. Nathan was still for a moment, his hand resting on her thigh. No one spoke. We all just stood there, 5 people caught in a silence that roared. Heavy breathing was the only sound. Then Thomas snapped out of it. "What the hell is this?" he shouted. Linda covered her mouth in shock, eyes wide with disbelief. Sharon scrambled for the blanket, pulling it around her. "Arthur, I can explain." "No," I said, my voice cold, sharp. "No, you can't." Nathan fumbled for his jeans, trying to slip out of bed. I stepped in fast, grabbed him by the arm, and yanked him up roughly. "Out of my house," I said, shoving him toward the door. "Arthur, man." I slammed him against the door frame hard enough to make it tremble. "Out!" He stumbled half-dressed down the stairs. I followed long enough to make sure he left, watched his car screech out of the driveway. When I got back upstairs, Sharon was crying, throwing on a robe, still trying to plead her case. "Arthur, please," she sobbed. "It was a mistake. I never meant for you to find out like this." Thomas cut her off, voice rising. "You mean you didn't mean for us to find out?" Linda's eyes were full of tears. "We raised you better than this." Sharon turned to them, crying harder. "It's not what it looks like." I laughed dark and bitter. "You're really going to say that?" Standing here half naked with him. She collapsed onto the bed, burying her face in her hands. I didn't care. I walked to the closet, grabbed armfuls of her clothes, and started shoving them into a suitcase. "What are you doing?" she cried. "Packing." I said, "You're leaving today." Her parents stood silently. They didn't try to stop me, didn't come to her defense. Just watched, ashamed, disappointed. Exactly what I wanted. I zipped the suitcase shut with a sharp snap that made her flinch. "You don't get to stay here. You don't get to cry your way out of this." She stood trembling, holding the robe tight, her face streaked with tears. "Please, Arthur, can we just talk?" "Just us." Thomas stepped forward, his voice hard. "I don't think you understand. You've disgraced yourself and us." Linda's voice shook. "We trusted you. We believed in your marriage." Sharon shook her head frantically, crying harder. "It just got out of hand. I didn't mean to hurt anyone." I stared at her like she was a stranger. "You didn't mean to hurt anyone. You did it every day. Every time you let him into our home." She broke down completely, sinking to the floor, sobbing into her hands. I didn't even look at her. I picked up the suitcase, dragged it downstairs, and tossed it on the front porch. When I came back, she was still weeping, but her parents weren't comforting her. They weren't even looking at her. Thomas met my eyes. "If you need anything from us, just say the word." I nodded. "Thanks, but I've got it." I pointed to the door. "Get out, Sharon." She stood slowly, robe slipping off one shoulder, her whole body shaking. "I have nowhere to go." "Not my problem," I said, voice cold. "You made this mess. Go lie in it somewhere else." Thomas and Linda walked her out. No hugs, no goodbyes, just silence and heartbreak. I closed the door behind them and locked it. For the first time in a long while, I could breathe. The next morning, I went to a lawyer's office, started the divorce paperwork. A few days later, I signed the documents without a second thought and left without a backward glance. Sharon wasn't my wife anymore. She was just another mistake I'd finally corrected. The divorce moved quicker than I expected. A few months later, the judge signed off. No contest. No legal battle. Sharon didn't have a lawyer. Didn't fight for the house. Didn't try to touch my savings. Maybe she knew better. Maybe she was too broken to try. Either way, I didn't care. The house was mine. The truck was mine. My life was mine again. After it was finalized, I took a few days off work and cleaned the bedroom from top to bottom. New sheets, new paint. Every trace of her was scrubbed away. It wasn't about anger. It was about cleansing, reclaiming. I didn't stalk her social media. Didn't ask where she went. I didn't care. Last I heard, she was sleeping on a friend's couch in another town. No job, no Nathan. Her parents had cut her off, too. One night, I sat on the back porch with a cold beer in hand. Thought about it all. I remembered her laugh, how real it seemed the first time I saw it. I remembered believing in it. And then I remember her barefoot on the porch, crying like she was owed something. Funny how clearly people show you who they really are once you stop looking at them through the lens of love. I took a sip of beer, leaned back in the chair. For the first time in a long time, the night felt still, peaceful. I wasn't angry. I wasn't heartbroken. I was free. And freedom, I realized, tastes better than revenge ever.